live. So, first of all, before we go anywhere else, I'd like to say good morning to my spirit guide Gregor, who, as always, is standing to my right side. And also, I'd like to say good morning to Chris, who is helping to host this show. She's doing it as a favor to me, and she loves doing it. I think, Chris, right? Say good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone.
And so we're ready and raring to go for questions. However, before we do that, those of you who can see that we've got a little bit of a different background. You know what this means, don't you? It means, yes, it means that I'm back in Florida. I'm home again, which on the one hand is a great thing. And I've got Kachora. Where is it? Oh, he's in the corner. He was on the sofa with me until a few minutes ago. He's doing really well. He's doing fine. Michelle has kept him beautifully, kept him well fed, well cared for. And so it's great to be back. But at the same time, it's so sad that I have to leave my darling girl and my darling boy back in New York City. And so I'm struggling a little bit with that because I've been with them for 2 months. We've had such a lot of fun. It's so funny. Maybe this is a British thing. I'm not really sure. But, when I came to America, it was the very first time I heard the saying, now what is it, Chris? I'm just trying to think. Visitors are like fish. After a few days, they begin to smell. Have you heard that?
I have.
Well, I've never been of that mind. In fact, I have a very good friend in England who, until she was not able to travel so easily, she would come for 2 months or 3 months or however long it was, and she'd come twice a year, and didn't bother me at all. And my students from England have come for sometimes 6 weeks at a time. And I have another friend who comes, she didn't come last year, but usually she comes for a few weeks at a time. And I never have that issue of wishing that somebody would not be here or not go home. I don't know what it is, but I've got this very easy attitude when I have visitors. I'm not going to wait on your hand and foot. Do your own thing. If you want to go out, if you want to go visiting, if you want to go sightseeing, and I'm busy, do as you please. Or if you don't ever want to come or go out with me at all, the bed's there whenever you need it. Now, Chris, you've had that experience, right?
Oh, so many times. Your house is your home. You can't call it a house. Your home is always so comfortable and welcoming.
Well, I was thinking of the time that you and your husband, oops, sorry, that's me. Well, I was thinking of the time when you and your husband came, you wanted to go to every baseball game in Florida. Do you remember that?
Absolutely. He was in his heyday there.
So you were out in the mornings and off, and we didn't see you. Sometimes you would stay overnight, and sometimes you'd come back, and it didn't bother me at all. And we just, whenever you were here, we just had a good time and just enjoyed each other, right? It's no big deal. This house is very easy. I'm very, very easy. So here I am in my daughter's house for 2 months. All of her friends are saying, oh my gosh, how are you dealing with this? You've got your mother, she's staying for 2 months. Are you kidding? Well, the truth of the matter is I went for 3 weeks and my daughter said, why don't you stay a bit longer? And then every time I said, I think I should leave, why don't you stay a bit? Oh, please stay, just please stay a bit longer. And my grandson would say, Mosey, please don't go, please don't go. And even when I finally did book my flight home, they were both saying, can you stay a bit longer? So I know there are people out there who hate having visitors, but I'm not one of them. And obviously my daughter is also not one of them. Is that a British thing, do you think, Chris? Are we more open to that sort of thing, do you think?
I think you're going to find groups of people everywhere, because I'm like that at my house too. Open house, come on in whenever you want.
Yeah, well, Okay, well, anyway, so I thought I'd just share that with all of you. Why not? I can see that we've got lots of people coming in here, Chris. So, knock yourself out. Why don't you knock yourself out? Shall we start and do our questions and answers?
Absolutely.
Right,
absolutely.
okay.
You have so many good mornings. That's what you're seeing most of in the chat rooms right now. Everybody's very excited that you're back after your little hiatus.
Well, good morning to you all. I did see somebody saying to earlier on, you look great, and thank you for that. Of course, we all love compliments, don't we, Chris? We all like to hear those. You look fantastic today. Look at you. Wow. That sort of thing. We all love those things. So you can keep those coming as much as you all like. In amongst all of those lovely well wishes and good mornings and so on, do we have any questions, Chris? Do we have anything to start us off?
We do. Dave is on.
Good morning, Dave.
He says, any suggestions to connect to our loved ones?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, Dave, because on the 24th of October, is it the 24th of October, Chris?
It is.
On the 24th of October, I'm doing a webinar, and I'm going to be helping all of you who join the webinar to see if you can. I'm going to teach you one or two little sort of insider tricks, if you like, not really tricks, but inside tips to help us to connect. And one of the issues that we're going to talk about mediumship and what it means, but we're also going to talk about the fact that do you actually need a medium to do all of this for you? And the truth of the matter is that unless you're a person who you get in your own way a lot, you sort of second guess yourself and so on, and we'll be talking about that as well. It is very, very possible to be able to connect. I think that people think that connecting with the spirit world, Dave, means that, you've got to hear them or you've got to see them, but that isn't the case at all. There are some little insider tips that I'm going to give you on the 24th. Do you have the link up yet already, Chris?
I do. It's at the start, and I'll say it again at the end.
All right, so there is a link. If you click on the link, it'll take you to, I do believe it's Everbright, where you can buy tickets. It may say there, tickets are all sold out, but they aren't. So ignore that. And if you have issues, email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. We'll deal with that one right away. But tickets are $45, yes? Yes, tickets are $45. I've tried to make it as inexpensive as we possibly can. There are no extra costs in that. We are taking all of those extra costs. We have to pay for Zoom, we have to pay Everbright, we have to pay all of these different people for doing it. So, I think it's a pretty good price. This is our experimental first webinar. So we'd love to have you all there. We're going to talk about that mediumship. And Dave, thank you for asking that question, because you're right. Absolutely, yes, there are ways that people can, everyday, ordinary people can, not that I'm not ordinary, you understand, just an ordinary person with an extraordinary gift, but there are so many ways that we can make connections with our loved ones in the spirit world, and we should endeavor to do that. Absolutely. And we'll be talking more about that then. Chris.
All right, Priscilla's on.
Good morning, Priscilla.
Hello, Rosemary. My love to you and Grey Eagle.
Thank you.
Please, can you let me know if one of my best friend's dad will be fine? His lungs are 90% damaged and is heavily sedated and on a ventilator.
Okay, well, I'm going to say absolutely yes, he will be fine, but there's a big but. I believe that, people say to me all the time when they have someone in the family who is dying, will he be fine? And what they're asking me is, will he or she, will they survive this? In other words, will they live? Will they get over it? Can they be cured on a physical level? And that is pretty much, we know, Priscilla, that that's pretty much not going to happen, is it? Not 100% anyway. When I say yes, absolutely, I can literally put my hand on my heart and absolutely say to anybody who is in this situation, he, she will be fine, because I do believe that in this state, in this particular situation, we have our angels who are surrounding us. We have people who are watching us, watching over us. We have our family in the spirit world who have gathered close to us and who will, when that time comes, help to carry us, help to carry our loved ones to that place where I can assure you he will be able to breathe again. He will be able to, his lungs will be able to work again, so on and so forth. If you have someone who has cancer and is suffering the pain of cancer, that will be gone. So when I say to people, and I do say to people all the time, please don't worry, he will be fine. So I'm saying that to you, Priscilla, yes, he will be fine. I'm not saying that he is going to recover on a physical level. I'm saying, please don't worry, because he's being taken care of. And, you know, the one thing that none of us can change, we do not have the power to change, is the time that we are to be born. And two things really: the time that we are to be born and the time that we are to pass into that next stage of our life and continue living our lives. And we have absolutely no choice or control over those things. Those things, I do believe, are in so many instances preordained. So sometimes, Priscilla, as hard as it is, we have to let go and let God. And that's my advice to you right now. Chris.
Cheryl's responding to your earlier comments about you staying with Sam and Reese. She says, now it's time for them to come stay with you, Rosemary.
Oh, we're working on that. We're working on that. What with school and difficulties with school and COVID and all the rest of it, which is why I decided to. My daughter was actually supposed to come here for the summer, but actually because of COVID and so on and so forth, we were concerned about Reese. So I said, oh, don't worry about it, I'll get on the plane then. I'm not afraid of these things because of what I just said. You hear what I just said, everybody out there? You cannot die before your time. God decides. It is a preordained thing. So truthfully, if I get on a plane and I'm killed in a plane crash, it's because it was meant to be. It was my time. I might not like it very much, but there's not a lot that I can do about it. If I die of COVID, it's because it was my time. If I die of influenza, which more people do in 1 year, every year, and have been doing for the last 30 years, than anyone who has died of COVID. I know COVID is forefront in our minds, but remember, years ago when the influenza bug was first recognized, everybody was just the same about that. Everybody was so afraid of that too. But God decides. We don't decide, and so often it is decided even before we are born to this earth. It is decided when we will be born to this earth and when we will pass into that next stage of our lives. Keep going, Chris.
DNA says,
good morning.
Thank you for your prayers. The dizziness/lightheadedness is nearly gone.
Yay! We'll keep working on it. But we have to keep working on it, but you have to keep working on it as well, my darling. But keep us posted, will you please? Keep us posted. Let us know how you're doing. Great. Isn't that nice, Chris?
I love hearing things like that.
Oh, I know. Me too. Yeah, keep going.
Mark has a general question.
Good morning, Mark, with your general question.
Rosemary, would you ever think about doing an audiobook of The Eagle and the Rose? Love from Tulsa.
I don't know where you've been, Mark, but it's already done. There is an audiobook. It is available. If you don't know much about it, email me, rosemary@rosemaryaLtea.com. Off the top of my head, I've forgotten how much it is. It's on CDs, 3 or 4 CDs. My dulcet tones. I've done the recording of it, so it's available whenever you want it, Mark. Let me know.
All right, Jan says, welcome home, Rosemary. Good morning to both you and Chris.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jan.
DNA also added, I still need healing for my arms and hands. I'm turning 75 next week.
Right. DNA. Pay attention to me, right? From one old lady to another old lady. You're not as old as you necessarily are in years. You're as old as you feel, my darling. You know, I was just talking to Chris earlier, and I got up off of the sofa to do something or another, and you could literally hear my knees creaking. Yes, I'm an old lady. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this. But I don't feel like an old lady, so therefore I'm not an old lady. But I got up and I said to Chris, oh gosh, I'm going to have to lose weight, because having a little bit of extra weight, not that I'm fat, but way fatter than I need to be. I've been in New York for 2 months. I've been cooking for my darling boy. I've been doing all those things. And also when I got home, I was saying to Chris, I made a bread and butter pudding, which I have no one to share it with. So, hey, I'm eating it. But it is, common sense. We know if you're heavier, that heavier weight puts pressure on your knees, puts pressure on your back, and that's the situation that I'm in. We will be sending you healing, old woman who is not an old woman. If you're an old woman, so am I an old woman, and I refuse to be an old woman. I'm like that. Let me see. Do you know that? Do you know the poem, Chris? When I am an old lady, I shall wear purple.
I have heard you say it a couple of times, but I'm sure everybody else would like to hear it.
Well, I don't have it to hand, and I can't remember exactly, but it's basically, when I am an old lady, I will wear purple. I will sit on the curb and I will sit on the pavement and dangle my legs. I will take my walking stick and make noise along the railings. In other words, you know what, I'll find it out, and if you can remind me, I shall read it out next week. But it's someone who's saying, when I'm an old lady, I'm going to do all the things I was never allowed to do when I was a kid. I'm going to do all the things I was never allowed to do in society. I was never allowed to misbehave. And I read this, so many years ago. I read this poem, and it literally, can find it, you can Google it. When I am an old lady, I shall wear purple. And it's talking about all the things that you can do that you didn't do before. Eating sugar, eating starch, eating things that when you were younger that you couldn't do, and so on. And as I read this poem, I thought to myself, that's what I want to be when I'm an old lady. And I was young at the time. When I'm an old lady, I want to be that. You might call it eccentric. I want to be that eccentric. So then I thought about it a little bit more seriously, and I thought, yes, well, here's the deal, everybody out there. Please understand this. To become an eccentric old lady, you need to practice. And that's what I've been doing for years and years and years. I've been practicing my eccentricities. And now I am an old lady, and I've been wearing purple for years, because why not? I've been doing exactly what I want for years. Why not? So I've been practicing my old lady tricks. So anybody out there who thinks they're old at 74, 75, 70, even 80, get a grip. You're as young as you feel inside. Besides which, is this true, Chris? Besides which, the new 40 is 30, the new 50 is 40, the new 60 is 50, so on and so forth. So hey, so you're really not 70. Did she say 75? You're really not 75, you're 65. Keep that in your head. And we shall absolutely keep sending you healing, my love. Keep going, Chris.
Oh, I'm going to buy into that one, absolutely.
Do Do you understand? Do you know? Well, of course you know, because you know me so well. How many people really believe that I'm eccentric? I think I'm just a normal, fabulously eccentric person.
Well, if you're eccentric, I want to surround myself with eccentric people.
I'll go for it then.
Okay.
You know, instead of surrounding yourself with eccentric people, why don't you just become one?
There you go. That too. But don't they say you are the combination of the 5 people you are closest to?
I don't know. I've never heard that before. I don't think that's true of me, because I'm just me. Okay. Do we have any more questions?
Oh, plenty. Mark has a question for you in Gray Eagle.
Yeah.
My friend Doug passed 5 days before my mom in 2019. Does he have any messages for his dear partner Wes and me?
Oh gosh, I was going to say no, but I'm listening to Grey Eagle as I'm talking to Mark, and here is the message quite clearly for, not for you, but for
Wes.
His partner, which is, you really got to stop crying now. I'm safe and I'm well. Stop crying, move forward, get on with your life. I'm right behind you every step of the way. And also blowing kisses to you too. Okay, moving on.
All right, Kitty has a question.
Hi, Kitty. We were talking about you a minute ago.
If you receive a sign from Spirit, a song, etc., how do you best interpret it?
Well, again, we're going to be dealing with this sort of thing, and these are the sorts of questions we're hoping that people are going to come up with when we do our webinar on the 24th. Interpreting what is being given to us, whether we see it, we feel it, we sense it, we hear it, however it comes to us, how do we interpret those things? And again, we're going to be talking about this at the webinar, and trying to help people to understand when to listen, when not to listen. We shouldn't even begin to interpret what we're being shown, because what happens, this is too long a subject actually for this morning, but what happens is things will unfold once you accept and take these things into your heart, these signs, these symbols, these things that we can hold on to. Once we take these things, and once we can just take them into our heart and just accept them that they will unfold themselves, and there won't be any interpretation necessary. Chris.
She also added, Rosemary, you look good in your home element.
Thank you, Kitty.
Kathy wants to know, are you doing readings today?
I don't even know what that means. What are you asking? You know, sometimes, well, as with Mark, I just gave a message. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean when this show is over, am I taking consultations? I hate to use the word readings. I know it's very common for people to, you know, and it's hard for people to understand, but I feel that I do want to say I don't read people. I don't read the minds of the person I'm talking to. I don't read the minds of the people in the spirit world who come to me. We have conversations. So, you know, there was a time maybe people used that word readings, and we all understand what it means, but I much prefer to say that I consult with people. People in the spirit world come to me and they consult with me. Their loved ones come to me. We consult, we talk, we sort things out. We have real conversations. Giving a reading implies that you're, you know, reading somebody's mind, or you're sort of trying to interpret again what you're hearing or seeing, rather than simply connecting with that person and allowing them to talk to you, listen to them, excuse me, hear what they have to say. and go from there. Sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. Yeah.
Okay. Terry wants to know how many people are in the webinar, and I can speak for you while you're taking your sip. There's a 97 person cap for this webinar to ensure that people have a chance to ask questions.
This is something that we decided. I prefer to do the smaller groups for things like this because I think intimate settings are so much better. Now, you might think that 97 people is a lot, but actually, when we're doing our shows like today, we look at the count afterwards, and sometimes there's 200, 300, 400, 500 people, sometimes more. But everybody who wants to ask a question will be able to ask a question. We shall certainly be having a conversation during the webinar. It will be a much longer session than we have here on a Thursday morning. But we like to keep it small. Plus, this first webinar of ours is our experimental. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this. I know they're out there. I know lots of people do them, but I always want to make sure that if I'm going to do something, first of all, I'm able to do it, and second of all, I'm able to, give people what it is that they want and give them a good experience. So we've taken our time about sorting this out, finding the best places to do it, and so on. And so the numbers will not be large. If you want a big webinar that goes on for hours and hours and hours, that's not this webinar. We should be doing at least a 2-hour webinar. Excuse me. And we've limited the amount of people that we want to be involved in it because we want everyone to have the best experience that they possibly can. Chris, next.
Carmen's asking, any chance that my parents have a message for me?
Excuse me. Well, I'm not so sure that this comes from your parents, but Gregor has something to say to you. So there's something here about a move. I'm not sure if it's, to be honest, a move of house, a move of environment, a move of maybe it's a job situation. I'm listening to Gregor as I'm trying to get the gist of what's being said. Of course, we absolutely know there's very little time on these shows, so if I don't get it quite right, please forgive me. But I'm trying to. There's something about a move, and I'm not sure if you just moved or just changed, or there's something going on in your life definitely that has changed whatever is going on whatever was going on in your life prior to. So so knowing that, I'm also hearing, and Gregor I feel is connecting with your parents. I am not, let's be clear, but Gregor is connecting with your parents, and the message is stay strong. I feel that you're in some doubt about what is happening or what is going on here. Stay strong. Be the strong person that you can be. Be determined in what it is that you want, and do not get sidetracked by other people's wants, hopes, and dreams. Let them deal with them. You stay strong. You stay strong in your own wishes and your own hopes. And I can absolutely assure you that those in the spirit world will be with you throughout this sort of change in your life. Okay, Chris.
Terry's giving you an update. She says, I think I'm getting much better at connecting to my son.
Oh, good. Yay. Yay. I'm so glad to hear it. And again, I'll say in our webinar, which is about mediumship, and it's about me showing people or telling people. I'm sure we should be giving messages there as well whenever we can, but showing people and telling people that you don't necessarily need someone like me. You just need to know how to connect, how to listen, how to be aware, and it's all very well saying how to listen, but how can we listen? How do we listen? And we'll be talking about those things as well. Yes, Chris.
Tara is on.
Morning, Tara.
I'm curious if Spirit has a message for me. I keep hearing the high-pitched ringing in my ear, and I know it's spirit, but I'm trying to decipher what the message is, and I'm having trouble.
Um, again, I can't help you. I can't, at this moment in time, I'm not really sure. But, if you come to the webinar, or if you ask this question again next week, you don't need to come to the webinar if you don't want to come to the webinar. If you ask this question again next week, I'll have a go at seeing if I can help you. There's no guarantee though. Chris.
Suzanne asks,
Morning, Suzanne.
is there a message from Great Eagle for the people on Earth for this moment?
I love that question. Who is this person again? What was her name?
Suzanne.
Suzanne. Suzanne, I don't know why I'm doing this for you, but hey, this is the way it goes. As I'm talking to you, and as Chris was reading out your question, I can see a gentleman here coming to stand beside Grey Eagle. I'm going to be very brief with this. His lungs, his chest, his breathing were very, very badly affected prior to his passing, his heart, so on and so forth. But having said that, I do feel that he passed with cancer, and he is very much connected to you, and wants to let you know that he's fine, that he is with you, that he's watching you and watching over you. I hope I've not confused you totally here, but this man is standing very strongly next to Grey Eagle here. And Grey Eagle would say, and here is the message from Grey Eagle, which we repeat over and over and over. And when I get myself together and get myself sorted out, we're going to publish a book which will be called Grey Eagle Speaks. And any question that you have or that you could possibly think of to connects with us, this world of ours, our lives, how we should behave, what we should do, what kind of political issues there are. He even goes as far as the political side of things. But our strength, the help that we need, the guidance that we need. This book is so rich. An agent, a friend of mine, once said to me, when she read it, I can't believe it's like reading chocolate. It's like reading liquid, beautiful, rich chocolate, because his words are so wonderful and so inspiring. So his words, as always, are, our world needs gentleness. And he's putting his hand on my shoulder as I say this. We can't determine what everybody in the world must do or should do. We can only say what this world needs. This is what he's saying. We can only tell you what this world needs. And if each individual person sets out in their day to be gentle, to show gentleness, to reach out and be gentle. It's so easy to reach out and be gentle when we're not stressed. I know this. But also not just being gentle with other people, not just being gentle with our animals, but being gentle with our own selves, not being so harsh or so critical of our own selves. Our world needs gentleness. So the more of us who can give that to each other and to ourselves, the better this world will be. He also says, and don't doubt that it works. So whatever our thoughts are, whatever that loving gentleness is that we put out there, it does work and it does make a difference. Chris, let's move on. I'm sorry, I've got this throaty thing going on. Sorry.
DNA is saying, by the way, you came to visit me in my dreams last night. I just finished reading Walk in the Clouds, and we had a nice chat about all the pain and all the victories on the other side of the pain.
Oh, I love you, DNA. I like you. I don't like calling you DNA. I wish we had a name to call you, but anyway, that's fine. And yes, you'll find that I do that quite often. I go out and I visit my patients. I visit people who need healing. That we're just because my physical body is sleeping does not mean that my spiritual body is is at rest. And often patients of mine will say, I woke up and they were sitting on my bed. Or the one patient of mine, always wear a particular perfume, which I've had for years and years. I've only ever had 3 perfumes in my entire life, by the way. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. But people will often say, I sort of turned over in my sleep and I smelled your perfume. Were you there with me? And of course I was there. So we do a lot of visiting, Gregor and I, when you're all sound asleep, when I'm sound asleep. Okay, Chris.
Adrian has a question.
Yes, good morning.
When a woman is pregnant and passes away, is the woman still pregnant in heaven, or is the baby born already?
Baby and mother are absolutely released from the physical body, and are born, the baby born of light, of love, and the mother also, and joining together and connecting with each other as the souls that they are, combining and joining and finding joy in each other. Chris.
Megan's requesting healing. So, requesting prayers for my Auntie Barb. She's in the hospital. And my friends Deb and Spencer. Her dad is being sent home today for hospice. Please send them your healing thoughts. Love you so much.
Absolutely, we will. In fact, Chris, if you could write their names down, we will absolutely send them healing. If you would also like to email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, and give me the names, and this is for everybody out there, give me the names of, if it's you who would require healing, that's fine, as to be put on our healing list. If you have healing, you want healing for somebody else, absolutely, please, send us. We don't need particularly deep information, just a name, just a simple name will do. We don't need to have all the ins and outs. It is helpful if sometimes if we if somebody is suffering with a particular issue, or maybe a brain hemorrhage, or a tumor, or arthritic hands, and so on and so forth, what I try to do when I'm sending healing to that particular person is I do try to focus my energy in certain areas. But it's not necessary. You can just say, please put so and so on the healing list, or please put me on the healing list, and it will be done. Yes, Chris.
Carol wants to know, why haven't any movies been made from your books? I would love to watch.
Ooh, well, that's a tricky question. I'm sure that you all saw the movie The Sixth Sense. Well, there is a little debate. I went on the Larry King show about this when The Sixth Sense came out, and Larry invited me onto his show. I've been on many times, and he's lovely to have me. We talked about The Sixth Sense, and if you sort of just slightly change, like in The Sixth Sense, the mother is nice, confused, but understanding and loving, and the main lead is a boy, not a girl. But if you switch those two things, that is my story. That is the eagle in the rose, and that is some naughty person stealing things. But it's fine. As long as the story is told, it doesn't matter, does it? But if you look at The Sixth Sense, that really is my story. So yes, well, if anybody knows of a movie producer, or anybody who wants to make a film of my life, or my books, or my stories, some of the stories are phenomenal. What we really should do, of course, I'm putting it out there now, just thinking about it, what we really should do is to have how you have these mini dramas, to have once a week somebody's story as seen through my eyes, because the stories are phenomenal, and many are so unbelievable, but yet real and true. Some of the stories are sad, some of the stories are wonderful. I was watching, there's a series called The Midwife. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but I love that because it's all about mothers and babies. Wouldn't it be great to have a series? I know it's been done before, But wouldn't it be great to have a reality series? And if anybody wants to do that, please come to me, because I've got a ton of stories I can give to you. There, that's the best I can do. Right. Chris.
We need a write-in campaign to all the major players out there in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Joyce said, people ask me, how did I survive the loss of my son in 2006? I just thank God that he gave him to me for 34 years. Oh, the memories we made will sustain me. Do you have a message from Donnie for me?
Absolutely, I do. I have a message for you from me. I know you don't want to hear from me personally, but the message from me is, oh my gosh, what an inspiration you are. What an absolute and wonderful, wonderful inspiration you are. And Gregor is tapping me on the shoulder. So never mind the message from me. Here is the message from your boy. First of all, saying hi. You know this, but stop worrying. Stop worrying about me. Focus on you. Concentrate on you. And there's something wrong with is it your knee or your leg or something? You got to go to the doctor. You got to go get it sorted out. Maybe we should put you on our healing list. But lots and lots of love from your beautiful son. Let me know if that's confused you at all. Please let me know. I mean, I would hate to sort of confuse you in this, but I have this very strong presence here. He is fantastic. And he's talking about the memories and how the two of you were like this. So that's good to know also. So please let me know if I've confused you, but I don't think I should have, because it's so strong here. It's so clear here. Chris.
Cheryl says, I've contacted you via email and would like a private session. How can we make that happen?
Well, if you've contacted me via email, you should have had an email back telling you all about what it is you need to do. And if you haven't, then you must email again. Just remember that, my office, Michelle is only sort of works for me a few hours a week. She does her very best, but if for any reason you haven't heard back from me within a couple of weeks, you need to email again and again until you do hear from me. Not sure when you sent the email, not sure how long it's been, my darling, but you should have heard back, fairly within a week or two. You should have heard back, and we should even be now talking about not how do you do it, but we should have already given you a date here. So I'm not quite sure what you're doing. Email me. Anybody out there who would like a consultation with me, email me. The email address is rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. We do try to answer within a week or so please, be patient. And it's very simple. We send you back the information that you will need, and we take it from there. We book you an appointment. You do have to pay in advance, but then that's fair enough, but not that long in advance. So it's not like you've got to pay a year ahead. So, but if you haven't heard from us, I'm confused. Can you let me know when it was that you emailed and asked for a consultation? Also, to help everybody out there who has done this and perhaps has not heard back, if you put in the subject line consultation, that gets Michelle is able to sort through much quicker and much easier. So if you could do that, that would be great. Chris.
Okay. It'll be a little bit long. So Megan is saying, I have to tell you, Rosemary, my dear, you and our angels were correct. I asked you a month ago about my daughter's wedding if the angels thought we should postpone. You said no, it would be perfect. It rained every day except the wedding day. A huge storm sat at the edge of the resort. Lightning and all the pictures are amazing. Not a drop on the wedding. I felt our angels holding that storm.
Oh,
Perfect.
great. Whew, the pressure. The pressure. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And it does sound very much, darling. Thank you, Megan, for that. It does sound very much as if your angels were with you and with your daughter. Uh, I remember years ago, I was at a fantastic wedding. My daughter was a part of the wedding in Florida, in Orlando. And the same thing happened. The tornado was coming. The tornado was coming. And it was due to hit in Orlando on the wedding day at 2 in the afternoon or something, which would have completely ruined everything. And I did spend quite a bit of time with Grey Eagle, sort of, pushing it back, sending it off out into the ocean. And everybody was panicking. The bride's mother, who's a friend of mine, came to me. She kept saying, "It's still coming, it's still coming." And I was saying, "Don't panic. At the last minute, it's going to spin around and go right out to sea." And that's exactly what did happen. Of course, it doesn't happen every time for everybody, does it? But it's amazing what you can do with a little bit of effort and a little bit of mind power. Keep going, Chris.
Judith was commenting on your poem earlier, the "When I Am an Old Woman, I Shall Wear Purple" by Jenny Joseph. She said, "My sister gave that little book to mother before she died. I loved it."
This is interesting because the person who wrote the poem that I'm thinking of is anonymous. There is no known author. Maybe you know differently. Or maybe Jenny Jones wrote a book and she put that in amongst other poems. As far as I know, it is an anonymous writer. But I'd be interested to know if you think differently, or if it's even the same poem. Chris.
Okay. Debbie said, "Any message from my mom and dad?"
Not at this moment in time, I'm afraid, but keep trying, keep asking. Don't be afraid to ask. Chris?
Betta wants to apologize to her beloved Betta.
Better, yeah.
"I want to apologize to my beloved grandmother for not having been the day she passed. I listened to my father saying, 'Don't go to the hospital anymore.' It still weighs on me after all these years."
Better, please don't let it do that to you. It is true that the part of the grieving process that we all go through, part of that, there are certain stages that we go through when we lose someone. And one of those stages is the guilt that we didn't do enough, or that we weren't there, or, and so on and so forth. I have so many people who write me about this, who say, I only went to the bathroom for 5 minutes, and when I came back, she was gone. Or, or I was on my way, and when I got there, he'd already passed. Sometimes, Better, please listen to me really carefully. Sometimes it is much easier when the family is not actually present for that person who is passing to leave this earth, because the pull, the anxiety, the wishes, the hopes, the willfulness of the patient trying to hold on to their loved ones who are surrounding their bed sometimes can be so much, it can be so much more painful to let go and to leave if you are there. If you are meant to be there, you would have been there. Stop feeling guilty. Please understand that she's fine. Please understand that there is no anger, no remorse, nothing at all. And don't blame your father either. He was trying to protect you and trying to keep you safe, or trying to keep you from the hurt that he knew that you would feel. It is what it is. It is what it is meant to be. If you are meant to hold someone's hand as they're passing, it will happen no matter what. And if you are meant to allow that person some time, some breathing space, so that they can pass without the struggle of having to leave you, that is what will happen. And that is what happened in this case. Better please stop the guilt. It's not doing you any good, and it certainly is not doing your grandmother any good. Chris.
Pina, Pina, is on.
Morning.
Hello, Rosemary. Do you have some message from my dear mammy and brother?
Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. So please keep trying. Just because it doesn't happen this morning doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Please keep trying. But right now, no, I'm so sorry, but I don't know what's going on with me, allergies or something or another here. My throat is croaky, my nose, I'm about to sneeze. Chris, help me out here. Keep going.
Yeah, Judith is asking a similar question. She said, you asked me to ask again, any message from my nephew David, who is in spirit?
Excuse me. I'm not sure if this is for you or if this is for the person previous to you, or maybe it's for both of you. I do have a young man here who passed very suddenly, very quickly. Some sort of an accident. There was some doubt as to whether or not it was an accident, but apparently I'm told that it was an accident. I'm seeing this young man from the corner of my eyes just waving, got his hands straight up like this, saying, can you tell them I'm fine? So if I've confused you, and again, I'm not sure if it because they came so closely on each other's heels, and it could be for both of you. But I have this young man here who's holding up his hand and saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Stop worrying. I'm safe. Okay, Chris, I'm sorry. Sorry.
You can only do what you can only do.
I know. Sort of, my nose is taking a turn.
All right. Kitty's thanking you for the information. She said she'll be at the webinar now that she knows tickets are available.
Really, people, tickets are available. So, they were not sold out. It was a little glitch that we had. This is our first time. There are glitches. So please, save the date, the 24th of October. I'm going to suggest you buy your tickets as soon as you can because we are limiting them, as we said earlier on. So, Chris, go ahead.
Megan continued with, I will email you a picture. So we're talking about the wedding. You will be in awe. So incredible. Your message allowed me to trust God and our angels more, and just enjoy every moment, keeping my daughter calm. One last message, my dear. Today is a special day for my niece in heaven. Any message from her for her mama and sisters?
Not right now, but excuse me. Sorry. I don't mean to be dismissive. I promise you I don't. My nose is really doing a number on me. I feel like, the witch thing where she used to do a nose thing with her nose.
Samantha.
I feel a bit like that. Keep going, Chris.
Sarah Lynn from Ottawa is saying good morning to you, and she really misses her dad.
Good morning, Sarah Lynn. Well, you know perfectly well that he's right by your side. I know it's not the same, is it? It isn't the same. But try, if you can, to live your life the best way that he would like you to live it and the best way that you should be living it. But Grayl tells me he's right by your side, always. But you know that, I think. Chris.
Terry says, I'm looking forward to the webinar and hoping for a message from my son and to learn to connect better.
All right. Well, I think there is there will be an opportunity if you're a person who wants to ask a question. I'm not quite sure what we have to do with that. Chris has all the technical stuff, but there will be a little box that you can tick or you can go into where you can ask a question, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we possibly can at that time. And I'm glad to see. I don't know if you've got a new ticket, but I'm glad to see that you're going to be joining us, my love.
Tammy Lynn is sending love. Anything for me? Greatly appreciated.
Not right now, because as I've said, if anybody's looking for messages right now, you're not going to be in luck because my eyes are watering, my nose is doing a number on me, and my throat, I feel really. Here I am. We weren't doing this show last week because I was traveling, and now look at me, I'm a mess. So keep going, Chris.
Well, I think I'll be repeating what you just said you could not do at the moment. Christine and Celeste want to know if there's any messages for them. Melanie is saying, good morning. I've always loved your books. I lost my mom when I was 11 and I'm 47. I've always wondered if she was okay or with me.
With that one, I can see. I'm saying I can't do this, but I'm listening to Gregel, who absolutely can say to you, she's never been away from you, and you know this. But I think you're looking for confirmation here, and I can give you confirmation that she is absolutely your angel. She is by your side whenever you need her, whenever you need help, whenever you need guidance. You need to learn to listen more, apparently, because you don't always listen. Well, I can put my hand up and tell you I don't always listen when it comes to myself either. But absolutely, she is with you. And I think, you know, again, you know it. You're just looking for that confirmation, and Gregel is absolutely giving you that confirmation. Sorry, Chris, keep going.
Tara's thanking you for your earlier message, but she also says, to be honest, it actually felt like I got the message through you answering someone else. I am grateful.
Yeah, that so often happens, Tara. That so often happens, and especially if you're in a hall or a theatre or wherever it is, and you have a medium who's going out there and giving messages. So very often, even though the medium might be directing that message to that person, so very often that message will also apply to other people in the audience, to other people, and it is the same here too. So often the message applies, and if it applies to you and it resonates with you and you feel, which obviously is what you're talking about, you feel, wait a minute, that feels right for me, then it is because that message was meant for you also. Chris.
All right, I'm going to give you the heads up. It's about 3 minutes before 12.
Okay.
There's a couple, I mean, obviously, we're still only halfway through the comments and questions, but Annie's saying, hello, Rosemary.
Hi.
I haven't heard from my son since March. He doesn't call or answer emails. I'm heartbroken. It's like he hates me. So she's looking for some advice.
Okay. You know, this so often happens with our children, believe it or not, as close as my daughter and I are. When she was sort of younger, we had this, you know, this time of being apart. This may not work for all of you, and I know there are a lot of you out there, so I'm going to spend a little time in answering this question. There are a lot of you out there who are having trouble with your kids, with your grandkids, with your family, whatever it is. You know, they have busy lives, they get on with their lives, they do all this stuff. Or you have a falling out. And in my case, there was a bit of a falling out. Look, we're mother and daughter. We're not saints by any means. And we have the same issues and the same problems that everybody else does. But this is what I decided to do, because my daughter was had removed herself emotionally, you know, and so on from me. Basically, she's just as stubborn as I am, and sometimes, you know, she decides I'm not calling her and I'm not, you know, going to live my own life. But also often, and I'm thinking this particular case, this is the case with you, it is friends, family, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, who really does influence. I told a story, I think it was last Saturday, about a wife who influenced her husband. And often spouses can do a lot of damage. What I decided to do was, instead of worrying about the, you know, not calling me, not hearing from her, and so on and so forth, what I decided to do was I would pick up the phone 2 or 3 times a week. She would never answer, but I would always leave a message. Hi, it's Mum. Just calling to say I love you and I hope you're doing okay. And I would put the phone down. And that way I felt I was keeping in touch, but I was also giving her the opportunity, if she wanted it, to connect with me. Sometimes our children can be just awful to us. Of course they can. As mothers and fathers, sometimes we can be awful to them too. Sometimes, they don't realize, and they don't realize how hurt we are. But stay strong. This is what I told the boyfriend at the time, who was the reason that my daughter and I had this sort of small, didn't last that long, but this small space between us. I told him, and this is what all of you out there having this issue should remember. It doesn't matter what happens, sooner or later. If you've been a good mother, you've been the best you can be. That doesn't mean perfect by any means, or the best father. If your children have for some reason seemed to forsake you, it doesn't matter when, sometime or another they will need you and they will come back to you, and you have to have faith in that. I told the boyfriend, you've only known her for a few months. I've known her all of her life. No matter how much she refuses to talk to me, and for how many weeks or months or even years she decides not to contact me, sooner or later she will come back to me. The truth of the matter is I cannot lose her. I can never lose her. I am her mother. She's my daughter. In this case, you are the mother. He is your son. It may feel as if you're losing him. Trust me, he'll come back. He will come back. You just have to be very patient. And in the meantime, don't wait for him to email you. Don't wait for him to call. Just pick up the phone. I love you very much. I never was on long. I was never once said to her, call me. All I said was, hi, it's me. I love you. Just letting you know. Hope you're okay. Click. That's all you need to tell your children. And they will come back to you. Might take a while. And it's heartbreaking while you're going through it. But they will come back to you. If you've been a loving parent, your children will know it. You can never, ever really lose them. They will always come back. Okay, I think, Chris, that's it. I think we're up for time right now. If you need to know more about me, my books, my guided meditations, particularly if you want to know more about the webinar, Chris is putting up a link. There was a link that she put up at the beginning of this hour, and she's going to put another link up for you. So just click on the link and it will take you to, I do believe it's Everbright, right, Chris?
Yes.
So click on the link, it will take you to Everbright, and they'll have all sorts of interesting talks and people speaking and so on and so forth. Just type in my name and it'll take you straight to me, and you'll be able to buy tickets online like that. It'll be as simple as that. However, I'm going to suggest that you do get on with it, because we are limiting the tickets. We are having a small group, and we're going to have loads and loads of fun. So if you need to know more about healing, or if you'd like healing for yourself or someone else, whatever it is that you need to know or you'd like to know, or if you would like to be put on my mailing list, please email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. Put in the subject line what it is specifically that you want. It does help us to sort it out quicker for you, and we'll get to you as soon as we possibly can. If you have asked for a consultation and you haven't heard back, send another email. This is my second email asking for a consultation. Please, could you send me the information? Just remember that, we have a small office, part-time staff. We do the very best that we can under the circumstances. So please be patient with us. However, if you haven't heard back within a couple of weeks, email us again and be persistent at it. It's not that I don't want to give you a consultation. It's just that sometimes we get a little bit overwhelmed and things get a little bit, spaced out. So don't give up. Anything else, Chris?
I just hope everyone has a wonderful week and see maybe them on Saturday.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to you for being with us. I'd like to say thank you to Gregor for being with us as always. And last but by no means least, I'd like to say thank you to all of you out there who watch and who are so supportive. And please, please, please remember Saturday morning is our story time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is the same time as now. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. In the afternoon British time. I can't do all of the countries, but that's the closest I can get. Story time. Who knows what it's going to be this week? I've not even looked yet to see which story I'm going to tell you, but whichever it is, we're going to have fun with it. And of course, we're also going to have question and answer time as well. So please join us then. In the meantime, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day and have a very blessed rest of the week. Until I see you all again, hopefully on Saturday morning. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning.